Hi, I'm Michael Lathrop, candidate for mayor, City of Kingsport 2021. We don't often get a chance to answer a question in our forums and public appearances of more than like 90 seconds. So what I'd like to do is just a few short videos and go a little more in depth on some of the topics that I feel are important to the City of Kingsport. Let's talk about economic development. I'm over here at the Pavilion Shopping Center on West Stone Drive, and off to my left was Best Buy, and back behind my shoulder you'll see where Dick's Sporting Goods used to be. Two businesses we recently lost. And I'm not going to sit here and accuse the current administration of being responsible for losing these businesses, but I think the Pavilion and Best Buy in particular illustrates some of the problems I see going forward for this city and what we need to address honestly and realistically. Listen, our current mayor, and he said this in some of the forums that we've been in, when I've talked about e-commerce, he's like, I don't want to live in a town where there's no stores and I get a bunch of boxes on my front porch. Well, no, that's not what e-commerce is. E-commerce is the reality that we're going towards, but it's not going to be 100%. We can have thriving retail here, but it's going to have a very different look and feel and face to it. And increasingly, you're going to see less and less of these big national chains and less of the big box stores. So what we have to look at is anything that's a non-perishable national or global brand, as long as it's shipping feasible, it makes good economic sense for them to turn to that. The other thing that did happen as a result of the pandemic is we sped up the curve, and you know, looking back into the 90s when almost nobody knew what e-commerce was, we've been on this kind of slow upslope of things, and then 2020 all of a sudden shot through the roof. We got 5 years worth of economic e-commerce growth in the first 6 months of 2020. Reality is, this is the future. We're not going to have a magic reset button and go back to life anywhere. It's not just Kingsport, where we have big box stores trying to open up these gigantic shopping centers with huge parking lots and all the infrastructure and costs that entails. The world's changed. We can't do much about what's already happened here. But let's look at another point here. 3 stores have done tremendously well for themselves in adopting to this future e-commerce model. Best of the national brands, Best Buy. Number 2, Target, right over there. And number 3, Dick's Sporting Goods, right behind me. So what we have to look at is, going forward, we can't keep doing things the way we have always done them in Kingsport, simply because it's the way we've always done it. The world has changed. Retail has certainly changed. We need to adapt to that. Now, we still have Target here, but let's be realistic. How long is it before Target says, hey, we don't have the traffic because these other stores are gone, and they're going to be gone? So what I would propose we do is, since we still have a local neighbor in Target, wouldn't this be a great time to approach the people at Target and say, hey, we see the writing on the wall, and we don't want to lose you as a neighbor, as a business of this community. So how do we do that? Well, let's look at Kingsport for a moment. We're in the very unique situation where, for a town of this size to be on the intersection of 2 interstate highways, Just to the north of that intersection by a mile or so, we have an existing FedEx ground terminal. A few miles to the east of that, we have an airport that just underwent some big expansion and is well suited and capable of handling a good amount of air freight in and out of this area. We have Tri-Cities Crossing at that intersection, which maybe it's a blessing that that did not get developed. But we have all this land and all that infrastructure already there. What if we approach a target and say, hey, we know what's happening, we know what the future is, we want to help you get there, and we do anything to help you instead of just closing up the store and moving away? How can we attract you to construct your shipping hub out of here? Amazon has proved this to be valid by just opening up or announcing the opening of their distribution center over in Bristol, Virginia. And good on them. And I think we will see some financial benefit to the city of Kingsport as a result of that. Let's look at the bigger, realistic view of the future. We can't keep doing things the way we always do them. We have to be looking ahead, be proactive, be progressive, and let's see if we can't get a target in. If we can't, there's 100 or more online based commerce sites right now that do over excess of $1 billion a year. To leverage that in regards to talking to Target, talking to Books A Million and Ultra and Michaels and these other companies who are going to go to an e-commerce model. Is one by one these disappear, building a newer, better shopping center for them is not the way to progress. The way to progress is being realistic and proactive in being ready for the future before it gets here, not reacting to it after it has. So with that in mind, I hope I've earned your vote on May 18th. If not, please, by all means, this is an important election for the future of this city. Get out there and vote for who you believe is going to be the best leader. And I certainly hope that involves change, but bottom line, please go out and vote. That's it for today. If you have a question or thoughts or anything you'd like answered, you can feel free to email me, lathrop4mayor@gmail.com. Let me know, and perhaps I'll do a video on your question, but I certainly respond to any and all questions and comments I get as timely as I can. And I'll see you next time. Thank you.